Hello, everyone. Um, it's been 2 days now, and I want to let y'all know I'm in a temporary 30-day space right now. First of all, let me show you around first before I get into the juicy stuff. Okay, now all this is mine for now, temporary. I do have neighbors, but this is mine right now. This is the closet, my stuff in it. This is the front door, my keys. This is the refrigerator, and it seems like it's brand new. Got to do shopping. I guess I had to bear with what I got right now. Big, huge refrigerator. And this is my setup. I got a 2-burner stove. Nice sink. Excuse the mess because I'm still trying to get situated. So I got some little pots and pans. All of this is not mine, but it's on loan to me for 30 days. Of course, this up here is mine. Microwave is not mine, but yes, I have a microwave. It don't work yet. Two burners, no oven, just a microwave oven. So this is my windows right here. This is outside where I live at. Right here. And look, this is my sitting area. This is all mine. Couch, sofa, love seat, entertainment center, TV, and coffee table. Moving on. Excuse the mess. I got my stuff here and there. This is my little tiny bedroom for now, for 30 days. This is my little setup. This is my little tiny closet with all my belongings that I carried with me from the old place. And look, God is so good. I had nice big trees outside my window, as you saw in my other videos. God gave me a forest for 30 days. This is right outside my window. I have a forest, so to speak. It's a lot, but it's calm and peaceful. I don't have to worry about nobody looking at my window. I just can meditate and zone out just looking at this. It's beautiful. And on to last but not least, my big spacious bathroom for 30 days. My big spacious bathroom for 30 days. This is my own private space for 30 days. And this is my, storage cabinets and stuff like that. With my little stuff. All this. So, God is so good. God is so good. He showed up and showed out yesterday. 2 days ago, I was literally thrown out of my apartment. I had to be out at 11:30. And I was rushing, trying to get out of there. I couldn't take everything I needed with me. I didn't have no help. I had to call an Uber Lyft. But the stuff I did have, at least, I mean, when you do moves like this, you have to travel light, especially if it's a God-based move. God always wants you to travel light, but I carried a little bit too much stuff, and even though I left some stuff behind in the apartment, I couldn't move out. I left my nice mattress I bought for a year. I had bought a year ago. I wasn't able to buy the bed frame, but I had a mattress. It was like a $500 mattress, but I bought it for $100. It was marked down from Walmart with my tax refund check. So I had to leave that, And it was a lot carrying all this stuff I have carried. And my Lyft driver, she was nice enough to to help me carry my stuff from the third floor stairs down to her vehicle. She had a big Toyota Grand Highlander, and right at like 10 minutes before 11:30, a SWAT team had came to the door. I had already walked out. It was down to the other end of the hall, get ready to go down the stairs. It was like 5 police officers, including the apartment manager. And I told them I'm already out. And the apartment manager said, "What? Are you gonna take the rest of the stuff that's in this apartment?" I said, "No, y'all can get rid of it." Really, I didn't want. I wish I could have took all of it, but it is what it is. So I was, like I said, I was blessed with some. I didn't have no money to my name to do anything with. Over the past few weeks, it was a struggle, reaching out to family, reaching out to people I know, especially people I used to go to church with, people that I trusted. No one, I mean, God blocked all of them. They either ignored me or refused to help me. So it was like bridges burned, so to speak. That's what I talked to you. I tried to tell you this and I tried to tell you that, but there's nothing I could do and all that. I was so hurt, humiliated. All these doors were slammed shut in my face. Every social organization in the area couldn't help me. All funds was dried out in the area. No relocation assistance, no rental assistance, nothing. My apartment manager was like Pharaoh. If anybody know Pharaoh in the Bible, her heart was just hard. She was persistent on kicking me out. She talked down to me, treated like I like a person that never paid rent. She didn't give me no mercy. I mean, God had hardened her heart. God granted me extension at the court. I was supposed to be on the 7 to 10 days, and it was the 4th of July weekend, so they extended until Monday, so I had 13 days instead of 10 days. So it was a struggle. I couldn't get nobody to even try to move the stuff out. If I didn't ask people that I know, I said, "Well, can you help me? I don't have no money right now, but I could pay you later." They said, "Well, if I could, but I'm not in town, so during 4th of July weekend, you can't hardly get nobody." So, and then people that I trust, I know, my family and stuff, I was at the point I wanted to go back down south because I'm from Alabama and I lived in Mississippi. I got people down there. They pretty much either they couldn't help me, or they didn't want to help me. They really just ignored my pleas. I was so hurt by it, taken away by it. But God, yes, I stayed in a motel overnight, Monday night, and I was able to get more money. I was able to reach out to a friend, a former coworker back in Mississippi. She helped me. She blessed me with what she had. She did what she had. And then when I needed more, between getting Uber, Lyft rides, and pay for my hotel room, she reached out to another coworker that I used to work with as well, and she also blessed me. And God gave me favor through those 2 women, besides my cousin, the previous night when I started posting. I haven't received any donations online. I've been asking for donations, and really right now I still need money. And like I say, I'm humble because I really don't like asking people for anything, because I'm just, I've been sheltered my whole life, and usually I've always was taking, like my dad, he was, before he passed away, when he was working, I mostly went to him for money when I needed it. I wasn't used to asking people, "Can you borrow this and borrow that?" I don't like borrowing money from anybody, but I will give out of my abundance. But if I don't have it, I don't have it. But it was so hard dealing with this by myself, because usually I would have at least one person to help me with a transition. But God wanted me to rely on him and him alone. I cannot harbor feelings against these people with my past connections, because they didn't have what I need. Yes, my heart wants to harbor feelings against them, want to hurt, feel hurt by them, because they just turn their backs on me and just talk, judge and criticize me. But God. So I had a social worker that my doctor referred me to when I told him about my situation and deal with my health issues. So it's a challenge trying to get around and deal with this whole moving process altogether. So he referred me to her. So that was a God orchestrated connection right there. So I stood on my word. I was in the shelter 2 years ago, and I can't stay in a, based on my needs, my personality. If anybody know about personality typing, I am an INFJ. It took me a while to realize that that's who I am. And my friend, my former coworker, she also is a school teacher, and she's seen how I, react, interact, or react with people, and I resemble a lot of what her students, do or whatever. And she believe I have something else that has been undiagnosed or whatever. That has to be taken care of. So all in all, because I've been doing a lot of research about my personality, I'm gifted, I am prophetic, but yet, that's a double-edged sword. I'm not just like it. I've always known I was different. And I'm still today is different. I'm gonna be different till I leave this earth. But God put me on this earth for a reason. But based on my needs, my emotional, my mental needs, I need my own space, because God blocked all those other ways of me staying with family or staying wherever, because it's always between 1 to 3 months. I can, end up me and them clashing. I had to move. Same with being in a shelter. I'm like a caged animal, so to speak. I can't stay in a crowded environment. I need my space. The last shelter I stayed in 2.5 months. I had money saved up from my job, and I was able to move into my apartment that I was just evicted from. I was only able to move in. So I had to work out a way to get the pay rent monthly. So at that time, I was facing eviction, but God was able to, I was able to work things out. I had rental assistance and this and that, and then I started working part-time, then I started working full-time, and then I started paying rent on time every month. It took a few months for me to get myself, get my rent current. But after that, it was smooth sailing. But I stood on that. I had to advocate for myself. Everybody suggested you need to go to a shelter. You need to go to a shelter. You need to do what you got to do. I didn't realize there was private shelters. There were shelters that, you have your own space. All of this is mine. But yes, I have neighbors because it's families here. This is a facility. It's a shelter. But I'm only here for 30 days. But I got this I could sit my last apartment. You see my last apartment in my last video. I could sit my last apartment inside of here. I had a studio apartment. Even the apartment I had before that, 1 bedroom. All of this is bigger than that 1 bedroom I lived in. All of this. All of this is mine for the next 30 days. So that means I have to get on it. I got people to help me to try to move forward here. I needed people that's in social work or whatever. I've been through this before, but see, like I said, doing certain areas in your life, you got to be connected with the right people. When you connect with the wrong people, it's going to be a lot of heartache and letdowns. And God kind of blocked the path for those other people, especially family. And nobody will understand my nature, my personality. But God, spoke to this, my friend, my coworker, as her being a school teacher. And I have a teacher calling myself, but not teaching in the school system, but teaching the word of God, or just being a, life skills teacher, life coach, and mentor, or whatever. I got to step into my calling. As well, being a creative person, I'm a writer, but I need to step into my gifts. But back to the point. My social worker She was, doing the best she can. Like I stood on, I said, I do not want to go back to that shelter. But the shelter I was on the wait list for, that's connected to this here, is a program. Even though that shelter was a shared shelter, but it was a 30-day program like this. But only I said, I guess I probably could tolerate being in, a shared environment for 30 days. So the social worker, like I said, I was getting ready to check out my hotel yesterday. I said, I would just like play it by ear. I said, I don't know what I'm going to do because I'm going to run out of money. I don't know what I'm going to do. I got to get out of here. I got to pay to get out of here. And then I got to, and I called and told her, I said, well, they said that they still, the shelter said they was still on, I was still on the waiting list and it was still full. She said, well, let me do a phone call and I'll get right back to you. So she called me back. And the lady that's over all of this or whatever, she's over Urban League. I don't think she's over it, but she runs it some kind of way. And she said, and she told me that she wanted me, my social worker told me that this lady wanted me to meet her. And so I had to, I was able to pay for a Lyft and I, gathered all my belongings and I came to meet her. So she reminded me of somebody else before. I said, and we kind of, but she, besides the point, she talked to me and stuff. And she said, I have a apartment available for you, which I'm gonna send you over there. And I was like, I was shocked, for real. And she said, well, usually you will have to go to the like the one I was on the wait list for. She said you would have to go do that first, but I'm go ahead and let you move into this and this, because I wasn't really eligible for this. I had to go to the other place first before I could come to this location here where I could have all this space. There's other families down the hall in their own private units. I have this whole spacious unit to myself. And she wanted to help me. She said, I've been in, hard circumstances, not exactly like yours, but I can relate to you. And that's exactly what I needed. I needed somebody to advocate for me. I did my part advocating for myself. I stood on it. I refused to go to that shelter. Part of me was going to go ahead, just go back to that shelter. But I made the sacrifice of just waiting it out in a motel room until I see what God was going to do. And God showed up and showed out yesterday. And so the lady had, the lady just went ahead and because the apartment was not far from the organization. And so I told her I don't have enough money to be able to pay the Lyft to just take me over there and stuff. So she said, well, just put your stuff in my vehicle. And then I guess it was her husband, whoever, they drove me over here. And so now I have to hit the ground running, so to speak. I got to work on my stuff here. I got a safe place to lay my head. And God be the glory. God be the glory. But still, I'm asking for donations. Like I said, I don't like doing this until I'm working on trying to find a job. I'm already had over the months been applying for work. Been on interviews, got denied or whatever. I never got callbacks. So I'm doing my part. I'm not sitting up trying to let somebody take care of me or whatever and want handouts. I'm doing my part. But I have a PayPal and I have a Buy Me Coffee app, So I will continue to post that under my videos. If anybody lay on their heart to just drop any amount to me, I really appreciate it, because I feel God is leading me, more into doing more videos and stuff, whatever platform, because I'm posting YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. So I'm, whatever God is leading me to, because I want to be authentic as possible. I'm a private person, but only when I feel like something is really weighing on my heart. If I'm going through a moment like this, I want to start sharing it, because that's what I've been doing. I've been watching a lot of videos, especially on YouTube, of faith-based journeys of people that have gone through similar situations like me. And this may be connected to my calling. So like I said, I'm just being, I'm not putting everything out there. I'm not putting all my business out there, but I'm sharing what I feel God is leading me to share. Because like I say, anybody can relate. I need you just to like this video, comment, and just, TikTok, just give me a comment or whatever, and follow me if you can. YouTube, just click, comment, and subscribe if you can. It will help me out a whole lot. And Facebook, Instagram, you know what to do. But like I say, any amount helps. If anybody could sow it to me, I really appreciate it. Because like I said, I'm trying to build a platform. I'm trying to build ministry. And this is ministry in a way by sharing what I'm going through. I'm called to, deal with trials and tribulations, and I want to be able to operate in my calling, wherever God is leading me to. So right in my vulnerable place right now at ground zero again, I want to be able to do what I can to help others. How God performed for me, and I stood on his promises. And I had someone I connect, I reached out to a ministry where we was emailing back and forth, and they did encourage me. And I was thankful for that. I had them in my corner as well. So I have them to be thankful for. Then I have my friend that I talked to, and then I have someone else I used to, that was my roommate back at the shelter I stayed at before. So, like I said, I only had a handful of people in my corner out of all these people I've been reaching out to over the past few weeks to help me with this transition. God knew what I needed. He knew what I didn't need, and he pushed them out. So like I say, I'm just thankful. I'm thankful for everything that God is doing for me.